welcome back to another message crawler update. Today I'm going to show you a new feature where you can graph your text messages over time, so you could see how many messages were sent per day and then use some of the filtering capability to narrow down your collection to a specific date range. Let's go to my computer and I'll show you how that works. Going to import a DAT file, and I'm going to use the same file I always have, and this DAT file has our timestamp, which is our date and time when the message was sent. Now, in order for searching to work well, we want to do a couple of things. One, we want to have this field to be a real date field, and two, we want to push it down to the attachments. To do that, we're going to use our format date tool. So we're going to take our timestamp, and because we're searching only by day, we can use a short date format. We can also use other ones. This will eliminate the times of the messages. It will clean it up a little bit, but you can still include time. Now what we're going to do is say whenever message type is attachment, we want to push the information down. And finally, we can say what field do we want to put our sort date into, and if we want to, we can call it sort date. But the important part is that we specify it's a date time field. And now that we have our sort date column, we can go to advanced search and filter, click on show hide search. Now we need to select our date field. If you don't see anything here, that means you don't have a date field, you have only text fields. And whichever field you select, this is the field that's going to be used to graph out the messages. And if you look at here at the bottom, we have a distribution of how many messages were sent per day. Now this doesn't look terribly exciting because I only have 3 days worth of messages. But if you note, I'm going to drag this around and you can see our row count is going to change. So we started with 79. If we're going to drop it here, it's going to be 36. Maybe bring that here. And you could see how the scroll bar is getting bigger because we're having fewer and fewer messages. Again, you can drag it around this way and you can find only documents from here. And there are also these little controls here that you can use to zoom in, and you'll be able to pick the date period better. So this is the reason why we truncated the time, so we could actually see the date here. Now you can do it with date and time, it's up to you, but I just did it with date only. So once you finished figuring out what date you want your documents to work with, you can go back here and you could say, let's mass update these. And we're going to update them to yes, and destination field could be like a tag. And now we have a new field created that contains letter Y, and from here we can go to export RSMF. We're going to make a note, so we have a 43 documents, and when we go to export, I want to make sure it does say 43, so it's ready to export those messages. And then if you want to reset this, reset your searching, you just come back here and say clear filter, and now it goes back and see how we have our messages tagged. Even though they're not continuous for some reason, they did hit on that date criteria which we specified below, and we can close that screen too. All right, so that's date time visualization searching. Not totally sure what to call it, but I think it's kind of cool that that you can do it, and at least you can visualize, even if you're not necessarily going to be using the searching capability of it, you can visualize the distribution of text messages over time, so you know when somebody was more or less active, and possibly zero in on that time period. All right, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you have any questions, comments, send me an email. I will see you on the next update.